All right, today we are going to learn how to play sharps and naturals. We have the sharp here on the left, and on the right is the natural. Now, once we apply sharps to notes, a bunch of rules come into play in order to make those sharps work as we play our music. Unfortunately, I can't just go through and introduce one rule, practice with that for a little bit, and then talk about another rule and practice that. Once you have a sharp, all of these rules could possibly apply. So it seems kind of overwhelming at first to remember all of these things, but it's not as bad as it thinks. But unfortunately, we do have to cover them kind of all at once. So I'm going to go through showing you each rule, what it means, and then I'll show you in musical examples on the next few slides. So first off, we've seen what the sharp symbol looks like. So if we don't know what it looks like, then it's kind of hard to know that we need to do anything. Next, it's important to know that it appears to the left of the note it's going to change or affect. So we see the sharp with the left, and the note on the right of that sharp will be the one that's changed. And that's just kind of important to remember so that when all the notes are kind of sometimes grouped together with a bunch of sharps, it's important to know which one it's going to change. Okay, what a sharp actually does to the note is it's played one fret higher or moving to the right on the guitar neck than normal. And I call this addition or plus, because if we take a note that's in the 3rd fret and we sharp it, it goes up to the 4th fret, so +1. And along with that, we just throw in a little extra here. The open strings become 1st fret, because if we have 0 frets and then we add 1 for the sharp, then it becomes 1st fret. Once a note is sharped, all the same lettered notes are also sharped. So what that means is if an F note has been sharped, then all of the F notes have been sharped as well. Any versions of those F notes, and we'll see more of that a little bit later. So sometimes we need to turn sharps off, and there's 2 ways that we can do that. First, we can use a natural symbol to cancel a sharp within a measure. So if we have a note that is sharped and we need to turn it off before the next measure, we use a natural symbol. You can also equate the natural symbol as normal. You're turning that note back to what it normally was. So for example, if a note was sharped up to the 2nd fret and you have a natural, it's going to turn it back to the 1st fret. A bar line or going into a new measure will cancel all sharps from the previous measure. So every time we go into a new measure, the sharp starts all over again. All right, so let's go through detailed examples of sharps. So once again, here's the sharp. Okay, so again, I'm going to show musical examples now of each one of the rules. So when it says a sharp appears to the left of the note, it changes. So we can see the sharp on the left-hand side of that F note, and then the following note after will be changed. Okay, next rule. The notes are played 1 fret higher to the right than normal. So we see here example, these are 1st string 3rd frets. The sharp has not occurred yet in the measure, so those are unaffected by the sharp. But now as soon as we add the sharp, it becomes 1st string 4th fret. Okay, next rule, the open strings become 1st fret. So we have our normal 3rd string open. We put a sharp next to it, and now it's 3rd string 1st fret. Okay, sharps examples now. Notes that share the same lettered name are also sharped. So here on the left, it's showing you that both notes are sharped. Okay, and I call this a carryover sharp. So the one on the left here, it has a sharp, and that next note is also sharped because they are the same note, and that carries over from one note into the next one. Now here's an example on the right when we have mixed notes. So those notes are sharped like before, but because the next notes are different notes, they are not sharped. So they are not affected by the sharp. Okay, this is a rare example, but this can sometimes happen with sharps. How many of the notes are sharped? In this case, all of them are sharped, because all of these notes are F by name. Okay, next rule, naturals can cancel out sharps. So on the left-hand side, we've learned that the first 2 notes are sharped. And as soon as we have that natural, they are not sharped, and just like the sharp, it can carry over from one note to the next. So since the natural is the last symbol that was written, then that was the one that kind of takes over or is in control for the rest of the measure. New measures can also cancel sharps. So like we've seen before, the sharp has not yet appeared in measure 4, so those first two notes are not sharp, so they'll still be the 3rd fret. Now we have some that are sharped. We'll move up to the 4th fret. Now we move into measure 5. It's the same note from measure 4 to 5, and as soon as we cross into measure 5, that sharp is turned off. It no longer carries over. And then of course those last two notes in measure 5 are not sharped because they had nothing to do with the previous note at all. So that measure acts also like a natural sign. And that's the basics of playing sharps.